All right, next up we have John Furneaux, and he's a collaborative tool specialist at Hive, and will tell us about Hive.
Okay, hey guys, my name's John Furneaux, working at Hive, and I'm going to share with you the project that's going to bring Meteor to every office in America. So, I am a collaboration nerd. I spent 4 years working at Capgemini, bringing collaboration to big companies like Shell Oil, UK Department of Education, big those sorts of organizations. And more recently, I've worked at Huddle.com, bringing Huddle, which is a collaborative tool, very successful, to places like Beats by Dre, KPMG, and NASA. That's gone off. Is it still going to work? There we go. What have I learned? I've learned that teams can think they're very fancy, but ultimately what they need boils down to 3 very, very simple things. The 3 things they need are, 1, actions. They need to know what to do. Number 2, messages. They need to speak to each other. And 3, they need files. They need context for what they're doing, and they need to store what they've done afterwards. And it's always the same, no matter who you speak to. So why do we make people use 3 tools? If you look at a best-in-class stack now, let's assume they're not still on email and share drive. They're using something like Asana for their tasks, something like Slack if they're really forward-thinking for their messages, and something like Box or Google Drive for their files. I don't think that's a very good situation to be in. Why do you have to do that when in your personal life you have something like Facebook for all your social interactions, your files, your messages, your everything? So here they are, all on one page. I realize that's slightly fuzzy. I hope you can see it well enough. On the left, you have actions, the Asana part. In the center, you have messaging, the Slack part. On the right, you have files, like the Box part or the Google Drive part. Now, this may seem like a very cosmetic kind of change, right? Does it really matter? Aren't we good enough having integrations? Well, let's look at what happens to real user journeys when you swap them from the best-in-class tool to how Hive works. So first off, let's look at what you can't see particularly well here. I'm going to assign a task to 3 direct reports in my team. So I write out, create a status report. I'm trying to do it as fast as possible so I don't cheat my own experiment. I do it again, because in Asana you can only assign a task to 1 person. And I do it again. So there's my 3 reports. I assign it out to Bob, then I assign it out to Cami, then I assign it out to me, right? So that's the fastest way that I know of in Asana to give a task to 3 people. Now let's see how it works in Hive. So on the left-hand side, we have our actions panel. I write out the action. But because in the middle, I already have my messaging panel with all my team members in it, I just drop it into the team, right? And it's created the 3 actions for the 3 people. So what was a fairly annoying operation for something I do every single week becomes a lot easier. Now let's try Hive against a simple Slack operation, right? So I want to upload a file into Slack to share it with somebody, something with Jessica. I go find it. Of course, I might have an integration, right? But I'm still going to go hunt through Google Drive or through Box to find my file. Now let's see, it's still going. So I've got the next dialog, and I upload it, and I've got to wait for it to upload, and then it's finally shared. Now let's see how it works in Hive. Well, all my files are synced to my desktop through Hive Drive, which keeps a local copy synced all the time with the web copy. It's done already. I didn't have time to show you. All I'm doing is dragging right into my conversation with Jessica, because the 2 are in the same page. There is no integration there. Both UI elements trust each other. So what are we doing with Hive? We're going for AngelPad 2015. Love to join some illustrious alumni like Postmates Criticism, Drone Deploy. Have some very difficult challenges ahead of us. Everything you've seen on the wall works perfectly, but I always worry about things like world-class security, how you do a really good job of file storage in Amazon, for example, and then search. Slack has shown us quite how important search is. We're going to be pushing Meteor to its absolute limits. If you think about Slack's meteoric growth, you can see the dangers of really fast scaling. And of course, the ambition is to be someone like Box, who did their IPO earlier this year. Thank you very much indeed for listening to me. I hope that made sense. Any questions from people? No?
So this was built with Meteor?
Everything's Meteor, yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys.